Hey, everybody, welcome back. This is another amazing show. This is the Real Estate Uncensored. We have Mr. James. He is the Zillow Killer. If you guys don't know him, I don't know what rock you've been hiding under, but he's gonna drop some massive bombs about AI, where it's going, how to put it into your real estate business ASAP, and really make it shine. We have Mr. Gene Volpe and Mr. Nick Sakas. Gene, take us away. How are you?
What up, gang? How you living, Greg McDaniel? How you doing?
I'm cold as shit. I've been up since 2:56 this morning, so it feels like noon my time. We're recording this at 9:10 a.m. my time. Holy crap. But I'm doing
What is
great.
cold? What is You're in California. What is cold for you?
32 degrees.
Oh, it is cold, bro. It's 55 out here. Yeah, that is cold.
Yeah,
okay, I give it to you.
Chilly.
So shut the fuck up.
We're like 75 right now. Tampa.
Oh, you better say that to him now. Don't talk to me about that.
Yeah, Nick, shut the fuck up. Dude, I am seriously wearing 3 layers plus a sweatshirt plus a scarf and a hat, and I'm still cold.
You know, we told you last week, right? You got to pay that light bill.
Yeah, bills are overrated. Bills are overrated.
That's why you're cold. That's why your ass is cold.
Oh
bills
my
are
God.
for suckers.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, James.
bills and spelling. Bills and spelling is the
Spelling. I didn't know you had majority stake in Grammarly, bro. I didn't know that was one of your endeavors.
That's amazing. What a way to get started.
Oh man, we're starting this off with fire. Nick Sakas, how are you, brother? But then we're gonna get to our featured guest here.
Doing pretty good, man. I got my protein in for the day so far. I'm doing good, tracking, and feeling good. Excited to talk to James. It's been a while.
Well, you look sexy as all hell, so keep crushing, bro. I love the weight loss program you're going on. Where can people follow you about the weight loss?
Anywhere that my name is Nick Sakas. Just type it in any device you have, and you'll find me.
All right, there it is, guys. We're gonna get into that later, but I want to talk about James the Zillow Killer. If you guys don't know who he is, please do follow him anywhere you can find him. He's been a dear good friend of mine for years at this point. He's a beacon of knowledge on all things tech. We're going to go heavy in the paint when it comes to AI. What does it mean? Okay, everyone's talking about ChatGPT. James has given me some insight knowledge in regards to kind of the role he played with that company. And there's a lot of other companies that are out there that can really influence your lives when it comes to content, videos, the whole gamut. But I'm not going to take anything away. I'm going to let James take it away. James, Zillow Killer, my dear friend, how are you? What's going on?
Well, first, I'm still black, so I'm good on that side.
Well, thank God that didn't change.
More than anything, I think the conversation about AI, just the real perspective of it. I mean, it's not really AI; it's more machine learning. But tying the machine learning to automation can supercharge business now. And I think some things that come out we can question: is it going to stick? Right? Like when NFTs popped out, right? The practical use of NFTs was, we didn't see that, but the smart contracts of NFTs is the component that sticks, not the art, right? The art is cool, and then everybody's running for the metaverse, right? The metaverse, and is it going to stick? It already existed, so we can say yes to that. But when we talk about where AI is going and machine learning is going, it's absolutely fascinating. And if we can pay attention to the trajectory of how things are moving, this is going to be one of the biggest wealth transfers we've ever seen. Connected to, let's just say, you can compare this to how people challenge the internet, right? This is some of the next evolutions of where the internet is going. So that seamless transition from Web 2 into Web 3, we're not even going to notice it. So paying attention to where AI is, and it's good that everybody's talking about ChatGPT, which is excellent, right? So it made it popular. It's not new. It's just popular. And I always tell people, when people say ChatGPT, ChatGPT was free, so that makes sense why it would be more popular than things like Jasper and so many others that are out there. But how do you properly use it is always the question. I think the fun component of it, in reference to asking it a question and it spitting out information, that's what we're playing with. But I don't think people get that this can really, really expedite your business, and it can almost, and well, if you use it correctly, it can help eliminate some of those unnecessary people that's inside your business if you're using things like from the image generation to the text generation to the SEO generation. So the list goes on and on, from even down to repurposing video. But the hard part is getting people to do video first before we can get them repurposed.
True.
Well, there you go. Listen, that's been my journey since 2008, probably. Let me. I want to ask you a question, right? But before I do, I want to tag this on real quick, because I'm a producer on another podcast. It's a technology podcast, and I just came from it. And we had the CMO on of this fairly major company out in Arizona. And the guy said that 90%, 95% of all collected data that they're using for these machine learning things has occurred in the last 18 months.
Really?
So, yeah. So think about when we talk about the speed of technology, we have come that far in the last 18 months. And I'm curious, I mean, listen, after James just jumped in on that, and I know Nick's probably busting at the seams too. I got a million questions. And I'm going to start with this one, actually. James, how long have you been the Zillow Killer? We've known each other for a while.
A little while. I mean, it's funny. I'd rather stay James, because people always pick with me with the Zillow Killer, but I give context to that. I think some people misunderstand that's just an attention gatherer.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
So,
and my question to you would be: have you ever gotten the attention of Zillow?
No, not at all.
No.
I don't poke the bear too hard. No, I don't poke the bear. I was in a room with Zillow, matter of fact, with some of the executives, and they came at Inman, and I had a big Zillow Killer shirt on. And
that's amazing.
My ignorance to the room was it didn't even hit me that I had this shirt on, and I'm talking to them, and I'm greeting everybody, hugging people, and of course, they felt some kind of way. They were pleasant, but they challenged in the sense of like, all right, you stay over there and we'll stay over here.
That's funny.
And I had to get perspective on it. Was like, dude, I don't hate Zillow. If I hate Zillow, then I don't understand the internet. So I don't care. I don't give a shit about Zillow. This is just for attention. So I've never had any clashing in that. So I don't poke the bear too hard.
I like it. Smart.
Yeah, well, you do a good job at it, and you and I've had many conversations off air in regards to kind of what you were building and what you have built, and I think that's an important thing about not poking a bear too hard. That game, aka fellow agents, aka other brokerages, so on and so forth. Nick, I want you to jump in because I see you frothing at the mouth over here with some questions, and then I have a list of things I've been writing down here that I want to ask James. So, Nick, I want you to jump in.
So I got two things, right? One thing that Gene talked about, the speed at which everything is moving. I can definitely concur to that. And to me, that's the scariest part of this whole thing, is not the technology at this point, because we're kind of unimpressed human beings at this point. I don't think anything really impresses us. There's very few things you go, oh man, that's really cool. AI has been that thing, and that's why it's accelerated so fast. But that's what scares me the most, is the speed at which all of this is changing business. We're not talking about years. We're not talking about, and I've mentioned this before, it's not like 5 or 6 years ago is when you guys first started listening to Real Estate Uncensored, and we're like, you should do video for your business. And now it's 2023. You can still be in the game doing one video a day for your business. Like, there's still a market there. You still have time. Fast forward 5 years from now with artificial intelligence, if you don't get into it, 5 years from now, you're going to be irrelevant. There's not going to be any time. And I don't want to say 5 months from now, but like, that's how fast platforms are moving. We just incorporated ChatGPT into your brother's software, likely.ai, to help with real estate prompts and writing letters. And I mean, it's, and they already had the integration 4 years ago with open.ai, but people didn't know about it. So the speed is crazy. Now, what James was talking about, Web 2.0 versus Web 3.0, that's a whole nother conversation in and of itself. And I'm curious to ask James, like, where do you see right now? So you're a real estate agent, you're getting in the game, you're like, all right, cool, I got my license and I want to do all these fundamental things, but then we have the shiniest of shiny objects that are in the market right now with artificial intelligence, and every single company, every podcast you turn on, they're talking about AI. So how do you narrow your focus as a real estate agent and not be overwhelmed with the AI shiny object, and or what should you be doing with it right now, practicality wise, to stay focused in your business?
Ooh.
That too big? Is that too much? I'm sorry.
No, because I think our industry it's almost like a weird duality in our industry. Like we're crazy antiquated in how we accept where things are going, but we're very quick to jump on the new shiny object, which is real interesting. With any agents and anybody we work with, we help them understand the fundamentals work. The misunderstanding people have, we talk about automation and where things are going with machine learning. Automation is an enhancement of who we are, right? It doesn't eliminate the human, it enhances who we are. And if we take AI and add it and understand those components in our business, and again, you know, I'm using terms that we don't normally address. Like very few agents have a business, right? So even saying that, just helping them understand the fundamentals of what it takes to start getting business, and then moving into that mindset of an entrepreneur to build a business. Then you can start answering those questions, you know, the who, not the how, right? And that's what a lot of people run to, is how do I do it? And real business thinks in who can get it done for me, right? So that paradigm has to shift first and foremost. But the shiny object side of it, you know, if we can help, you know, agents right now start to, you know, think in the sense of, okay, the how of our business. The question is what components in their business that they need, that they want to start to add that growth to, right? You know, I mean, it's the fascinating part about just where we are today. I don't think most people understand everything is exponential. It's not just this, like everything, right? I mean, you can be a nobody tomorrow, and if you broadcast your message consistently enough, or if you want to be controversial enough, the world can know who you are, right? I mean, we can name tons of people that we didn't know who the hell they were, and all of a sudden they're everywhere, right? So that's where we are in the sense of behavior, of how we don't just learn new things. It's almost like we adapt new behaviors, and that's how it comes. I don't think when we talk about AI, that's not going to be something you have to actually learn, because once it's the way it's being adapted. I mean, Bing just dropped their thing Monday, Google is dropping theirs today. It's going to be part of who we are. Same way with people is so focused on, like, I don't want to get rid of my flip phone. After a while, they're not going to make flip phones no more. So you have to use a smartphone. So I don't think it's the learning, and it's good to be aware of it. And what I've learned is most people that are jumping on new and shiny objects, it's a toy. It's like a toy component to them. Is it practical for them? Not yet, right? So, you know, to help guide people, I say play around with it and have some fun with it, because after a while, this is going to be the norm. It's not going to be, this isn't like a if thing. Like this is happening right now in front of us. So I don't think we have to move shiny objects from people. I prefer for them to play with it, let them get the feel of it. And it's nothing to be intimidated about, because everything we do is exponential, right? Like the millionaire rule is broken. Like before, you used to be like, how do you become a millionaire? Now everybody's telling you how to be a millionaire, right? Everybody. We got one of the youngest YouTubers is 16 millionaire, right? Like the game is completely different. So the world we live in the sense of abundance of information, exponential growth, this is just the evolution of where it is. Just even when we like Gene was saying, video, people still don't get that the amazing part about video, it's not just that you can brand yourself, right? It's the fact that you can say shit that people can actually understand who you are as a person, right? It gives context exactly. There's no more guessing. I don't have to look at a billboard and think, is this per shiesty? Do they know what they're talking about? You can actually say that and put yourself out there, because out of the mouth speak of the heart, right? So where we are in a sense of exponential growth and trying to keep the industry from not getting caught up into everything, I say play with everything, because after a while, right, this is just going to be the norm, and it helps a more narrow conversation when a person that's really trying to build their business, we can start to get to the point of, okay, let's get out of the how and let's talk about the who now, right? Let's get there.
I think that you went really deep on that, and I really appreciate that insight, because a lot of folks just really don't understand. It's a shiny object at this moment, like you said. It's like, oh, look at this! I can create code for a basic web page, or I can write a chapter for my first book, or I can do fill in the blank, right? Compare different articles to each other, and then get a grade itself. It's not even connected to the web. I've heard you talk about this multiple different times. Imagine when this gets connected to the web and it has real-time data.
Here's the funny part. It is connected to the web, right?
But what I heard
ChatGPT is right now the extension. You can connect it, and then the playground which ChatGPT is wrote from absolutely connects to the web. So, but I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. And maybe I misunderstood what you said in the past interviews I've watched and listened to you from.
Yeah, the standard version of Chat. See, we're only talking about ChatGPT. Like, that's a fraction of what this shit is. Like when I'm talking about like we're like scraping the surface of where things are going. ChatGPT is just popular. It isn't the first. It isn't the new. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just popular, and it's great that people are accepting and seeing where we are in reference to this type of information. But every piece of tech that has been created and that's coming out now is nothing more than an advancement of communication. And here's the funny part. With all of that, if you can get a visual presence out there, you'll win every time.
Let's talk about that for a second, because I mean, ChatGPT is words, it's verbiage, but there's a lot of other things, and we talked to you briefly mentioned about images, SEO, video, and stuff like that you can create. Let's talk about images that are uniquely created for your content. That is astonishing, and I really would love people to understand that, because I was on a call earlier this morning with a bunch of gentlemen doing cold calls, and they were talking about doing YouTube and podcasts and so on and so forth. But they are like, well, how do I create a thumbnail? How do I create unique images? And I'm like, oh man.
It's if people are still trying to figure out thumbnails, you know what I mean? Like, again, the antiquated part of our industry is still fascinating to me, right? I mean, if you can't do a thumbnail, you can go on Fiverr and get somebody to do 10 of them, $10, right? Like, you don't have to know. Like, it goes back to what I said. We're so caught up into the how, we forget that business is all about the who, right? So even with that being said, let's just jump into some of what I feel to be some of the best image generating software. You have art generating, you have image generating. Some of the best image generating is Midjourney, right? What makes that so dope is, yes, it's on Discord. Yes, it's paid. But the cool part is you can create your own server where it houses your own whatever you're trying to create, right? I mean, you can do whatever you want in reference to creation. If you can think it, it'll develop it. And the more you get into understanding prompting, the more you start to understand where things are going. And here, let's just put this in perspective, talking about exponential growth. Prompting engineer is a 6-figure business now.
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy. Like, just being able to give the right verbiage is a 6-figure salary right now.
Really?
Well, it's kind of like, think about it this way, right? I gave this example before. All this chat GPT stuff, or just artificial intelligence right now as we know it, is the DOS computer before Windows. Like, you turn on your computer, you had to know what commands to type to bring up the program to do the thing that you wanted it to do. That's where AI is right now. There's no Windows that you just click a couple things and do. Like, so that's what all the companies that are on top of these things that are doing, right? They're creating the Windows version so somebody can go in and just click a couple buttons with the prompts that they already know work, like dummying it down. And like, so what James was talking about, Midjourney, like, that's a really cool platform. It's not as popular because it's in Discord. You immediately tune out like 80% of people because they don't even know what Discord is or have a channel, or even, and you start talking about servers, and then agents are like, what?
Well, check it. Look at Nick. When remember when we talked about NFTs and they said to
Yeah.
follow NFTs, you had to follow through Twitter and Discord. And everybody's like,
Right.
"Ooh, Discord." And people's like, "Yo, gamers been used like the stuff has been in existence." And what a lot of what we're seeing is going back to almost like the pandemic, Gene. Like people like, "Oh, I'm using video now. Great. Now you're relevant." Right? You didn't evolve. You just it made you relevant. So that's all what's happening right now, right? A lot of things that's getting put in front of us is really making the world relevant, and even some of the industry more relevant to where things are and where they're going. It's never about you guys remember the Jetsons. We are old enough to remember the Jetsons, right?
Of course.
Oh gosh,
Yeah.
yes.
Check the Jetsons and do a checklist of everything you see on there outside of flying cars. And that's even out right now, right? It's
Yeah,
not,
which they have that. I've been watching the videos
go
about
through a
that. So,
checklist. Like it's just fascinating to see the future is now, right? And the question is where are things going? We really don't know. The sky's the limit, but we just need to be aware that the space of exponential growth, there is no reason anybody should be failing right now outside of choice. Pure choice.
We just lost all of our listeners.
Oh yeah, it's pure choice. Nah, here's why I am with this, Nick. I mean,
That's it, folks. That's the end of the episode.
The thing I push and I need our industry to understand is we're so caught up in doing what we want. You got to dead that shit and do what is required. That's it. Simple as that. As long as we live this misguided way, and this is what our industry is good for, right? Like you get your license. I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. No, you don't. Because if you don't understand little things like when Gene says, "Yo, video is important," and it's not just about the branding, but it's just the way the world works right now. It's just getting your message out, because marketing is nothing more than messaging. And then if you're going to advertise amplifies the message. You start there with getting your message out. Then you may not even need to market, because marketing is essential. Advertise becomes a luxury. And then you start to realize, like, oh snap, that's the world. This is the world. It's not like we're telling you something that's like taboo or voodoo. This is the world we live in. The communicators run the world, and everything you see is an advancement of communication. So our industry has to get out of this mindset of I'm going to do what I want, and we start to do what is required, or you are preparing yourself to sell real estate until you die.
Yo, he just said something so profound. Who runs our world?
Communicators.
Bro, that's so simple, so simplistic, and so deep at the same time. Like, if you just think about where everybody gathers their content from, like I'm a Joe Rogan guy, right? That dude just sat down in his living room and put a mic in front of his face. And what he did was he stuck with it and stayed with it forever. Gary V, same dude. He was the loudest dude on the platform, right? Like it's the communicators. And what happens is people vet themselves out of that. I know I've been doing this show for 44 years, and I know there's been plenty of people that saw me and went like this, I don't fucking like this dude. And I get it, right? Those people will see their way to the exits, and the ones that listen are the ones that now know who I am across the country, who James is, what's Zillow Killer, who, I talk to people all the time. They're like, Greg McDaniel. And I'm like, yeah, it's my buddy. Right. So the communicators, the people that constantly show up in the right spots over and over and over. That's
what she said.
Hey, oh, wow. That was good. So wait, real quick. Let me dig back a little bit. Because you were talking MS-DOS. We're talking about James, what was the name of the job description that's making six figures now? What did you call it?
Prompt engineer. Yep.
And $300,000.
Yeah, and here's why, right? So here, I love that. I love prompt engineer. This is DOS. This is real estate, right? So here's what I mean by that. We've been talking about this for the last 2 years. There are going to be machine learning things and websites that knock some of the agents out of the game. There is a generation of people that are coming up that are perfectly fine doing their transaction online, right? Not the majority, right? There's always going to be a need for a real estate agent. It's not going to be the agent that's sitting back and doing nothing. It's the one that's out there communicating. It's the one with the most creativity. It's the one with the most thought. It's the one with the most vulnerability. You got to show that, right? Like, as a real estate agent, if I was a licensed real estate agent, I wouldn't be worried about the machine learning coming in and taking over my job because I'm the top 10%. Right? There's always going to be a need for face-to-face. Same thing with Chat GPT, and I'm still in this space. You need to be creative enough to tell it what you want it to do. You can't just, it's not like it's just going to show up at your house and it's going to, I mean, look, how many times can you go, give me a recipe for bolognese? Give me a recipe for bruschetta. Like, give me okay. Well, that's not going to advance you. What's going to advance you is coming up with the creative things that help merge your business, linking it with a likely AI to identify folks that are ready to sell in the next 44 minutes, right? Like, those are the people that are going to win. So, sorry, I had to rant there. That was good shit.
It's definitely cool. Like I said, the internet is simple, you guys. Like the internet is broken up into 3 components. You just need to be able to resonate, stay consistent, so people feel that you have some sense of omnipresence, and tap into intimacy. Don't BS people, right? If I can see who you are, I am more likely to work with you. And then at the end of the day, the world is formulated off of agency, all based off of choice. We can choose whether we want to stream a network with commercials or without commercials. Everything is choice at this point. So, the levels of where things are in a sense of tech is just an enhancement. The internet is still very, very rudimental in the sense of how people are engaging. That's why some of the top coaches, you don't ask them how many houses they sold.
Why do you think that shifted?
Well, it's just the formula. You'll be able to resonate, omnipresence, and intimacy. That's the process. Anybody you see that you like, you follow, you'll see those 3 components there. You'll see that right there. They resonate with you, right? The omnipresence, where you've chosen to follow them. So everywhere you go, you see their information, and you can see that is the person. Like we talked earlier, you mentioned about a band. He was like, this guy is so cool. He's the type that I like him so much because I can see myself having a beer with him. Intimacy,
yeah.
Right. That's the internet in its totality. Right. When me and you connected, right, I told you when I sold real estate, I didn't have a coach, and you were the coach that I never had. Right. It was a selection. So it's like full circle. And when I met you, you was the same person. I promise you, if I would have met you and you wasn't the person I was on the podcast, we wouldn't be talking. Yeah. That's just the nature of things, right? So anything that we have in a sense of tech, it just enhances communication, right? The rules are still the same in the sense of, like people are like, well, they're going to eliminate the real estate agent. I don't know anything that exists that's going to remove the real estate agent. It may lower some of the profits, but I don't know anything that exists that will completely eliminate the agent, because intimacy is the biggest component that we have, and you can only get that from me.
Yeah, it's that belly to belly, eyeball to eyeball kind of, like you said, intimacy. It's having that confidential conversation. I mean, I've sat with clients in homes and drank a beer with them, and just really connected and figure out what their goals were. You can't do that with AI, but you can get the conversation started with AI on that front.
Look at this, Greg. That's what video does.
Yeah,
right?
It does.
Like, it removes the small talk, right? If as long as you're not a caricature, right? Like if you're the same person, when I met you, you was the same person, right? It wasn't, I didn't have to figure you out. And when we joked about this earlier, like, dude, you got a friend that you got to wonder if they got your back. I can answer that for you. They don't. They absolutely don't, right?
Yeah.
That's what the internet has offered us in a sense of communication. And you look at things like video does that, right? It gives that ability to really let a person get to know who you are as a person on multiple levels. Now, your level of transparency is yours. I can't get into that, right? There's some things I'm just not going to do. Like, you're not going to catch me dancing on TikTok. Shit is not going to happen, right?
I would actually pay to see that. I'd pay to see that.
Yeah, me
Literally.
too.
It's not going to happen. Like, it's just not going to happen, right? But I know who I am as a person, right? I can tell you, right? It's just not going to happen. So,
But the thing, James, that a lot of people don't really understand about that comment is the fact that you know exactly who you are. And a lot of folks want to be everything to everybody, but you have a firm stance. You're like, look, this is not going to happen. And with that statement, there's power, because you're setting a line in the sand saying, look, I will do X, Y, and Z, but I'm not going to do A, B, and C. End the story. Hard stop. Don't give a flying fuck about your opinions about what I should or should not do. But a lot of folks just get caught up in the minutia of, well, Stacy's doing this, Rebecca's doing that, Bob's doing this, Frank's doing that. It's like, great, let them do that, but be true to yourself. And I know you're running. I know we're running.
I know
late
it's
on
fine.
time.
I mean, we good. I mean, but that's the lack of identity. That's why when you have to, even when you talk to people and they say, well, what should I use for my business? Let's first find out, do you even have a business, right? Let's start there, right?
Yeah.
Because
Well, they're distinguishing between a business and a job, right?
well, because I mean, it's so easy to make money in this industry. Like it's a dope ATM machine, right?
Yeah.
But the real question is, we got into this industry to build a business, and when we understand just the fundamentals of identity, you really start to understand that you really can't have everything you want, but you can have everything you are, right?
Ooh.
So as an entrepreneur, we can close the gaps if you're really that, right? Not the pretend thing. So our industry allows the pretend to happen because we make money, and that's cool. I applaud that. But when you talk about, I've been selling real estate for 20, 30 years, that's not impressive. That just means you still haven't figured it out yet. Right?
Yeah. You haven't been able to work yourself out of a job, basically, right?
It goes back to identity, Greg.
It is. And you know what, James, what I really like about that comment is the fact that I've been in business for 24 years, licensed, right? And I use it as a bragging right, and I shouldn't, because like you said, it goes back to still being a slave into the industry of the grind, so on and so forth. And my dad's been doing it for 65 years, almost 70 years. And I always thought, like, I have to get past my 20-year mark so I can say I've been in it for 20 years. But what does that really mean? Why can't you say you've been in it for 5 years, worked yourself out of it, built a team, built a downline, if you're an EXP or real or whatever, whatever you want to do. And then it's no longer a job, it's a business. Because then you can go to Tahiti, you can go to the Cayman Islands, you can go to Hawaii.
Look at this, Greg. I mean, look at this industry. And the reason why I'm so passionate about it is because this industry was what helped break the financial curse on my family's life. Right. This industry is one of the few industries, Nick, that it take you 2 weeks to be a professional. You sell a highest priced product on the planet. The product is everywhere. The customer is waiting to hear who you are, and no one is going to tell you how big your business can be. Right? Like, until we start to really hold that in our heads and get over the vanity side of, oh, I sold 100 homes. Yeah, but you broke, right? Like,
Exactly.
it doesn't mean anything. It's like you broke. Like, you may have 20,000 in the bank. Like, you broke. And I don't think we look at it in full retrospect of what we have access to, along with the internet, right? Along with the internet, there's no gatekeepers. There's nobody stopping you from marketing your business. Well, I need a marketing team. There's nobody stopping you from marketing your business, because marketing is just messaging. Why don't we figure out what the message is? Let's start there, right? And now we got that. Let's just choose. We ain't got to do them all. Choose one of these platforms, either one. Anyone that offers video, choose one, right? Oh, well, I don't have a lot to say. Okay, we have vertical short form. Here's the fascinating part about that. No one's watching videos after 35, 45 seconds. So you ain't got to say a lot anyway. Can you get to your point in 30 seconds?
So true.
Yes, there you go. That is the skill. Now we're tapping into something, and then we're going to stay there. How long do we stay there? We stay there until it produces. Well, when it produces, I don't know, right? Because you can always better your best. We're going to stay there until we produce. Well, how long do I have to do that? No, we're going to focus on commitment. Well, I don't have commitment, then you'll never have success. And that's why so many people fail, because when they hear the cost of commitment was a price they were never willing to pay. So now we can stop talking to that person. Let's go to somebody that really want to do it.
Yeah, hold on.
The other half of the audience just left. All right.
No. Hold up. I hope they did.
That's good though. Yeah.
I hope they did because that was a fucking masterclass.
That
James,
was fucking awesome right there. I'm gonna go
listen,
back and rewatch that myself.
here's what I feel like I need to do, James. If you could you drop your Venmo in here so I can send you some cash? Like
No.
after all that, bro, I need to be able to. That was what I've been doing with my life in the last 12 years in a 40-second clip. That was so good, dude. So good.
Yeah, I mean, again, the industry is too big to be wasting energy and time on people that don't want it, right? Like I'm old, like I think we're all seasoned enough to detect when a person is talking, right? Because talking is cool. It's cool, right? Anybody can talk, but the actions, right? It's like people that go to the gym. Like I go to the gym every day. Yeah, but you still look terrible, man. So it's clearly you're just going to the gym, right? Now let's go to the gym and do something, right? Because the results speak for themselves. So if we see that video works, why don't we use it? Like because we can incorporate anything, right? We can incorporate anything. But here's what makes AI so interesting. Again, goes back to the communication side. If we can look at the practical use in the sense of, okay, you won't do videos and you don't know how to write blogs, so let me help you write a blog, right? Let's start there, right? And then let's incorporate some images that you might like, right? Let's start there, right? There is no reason why people should fail. Like your failure is purely by choice right now. And the problem is we have identified with this feast or famine mindset and this broken, this false reality that your first year you got to suffer and you're not. We live in a world that it is nothing but exponential growth. The information there, the question answer is there, the way of getting in front of people there, right? It's purely choice. And the hard part that people won't accept is it's me. I am comfortable telling a person it is you, my man. Like it ain't nothing out here that's stopping you but you. And people hear that and they need these dopamine hits. And our industry is good for that. Like, let's pump them up and motivate them up. I'm over that. I'm over this. It's enough of that, right? Because I did it in 4 years. I got in my first year, I did terrible. My second year, I got a coach. I pushed my business out in 3 years. I locked in and got it done, right? And I'm not saying like, well, everybody can do it. Yes, everybody can do it. What people won't say, it is going to be hard. It is going to be challenging. And the cost of commitment is extremely expensive. That's why everybody can't succeed or see what my bank account look like. Very few people can get there because they're not willing to put in the work. And the work has gotten easier with what we have in front of us. Right. The question is, what are you willing to do? Like, do you really want it? Now, here's something fascinating, what people won't think about. And I always laugh when people hit me with their belief systems, right? Like their religious belief systems. And scripture says a good man, not a great, a good man has enough wealth set aside for his children's children. You know what that means? That's legacy. So you don't have the luxury to not do what you need to do if you want to be good, because you can't leave them. You can't leave your family behind. Oh, I was thinking about it. I was planning on it. No, they need money.
Yeah. You know what? I'm
another show. V2. We need V2.
I'm at a loss of words on this. The reason why is that James, I love you like a brother, man. Like we always talk about, and you and I've had some phenomenal conversations. They're never going to stop. The passion, the intelligence, the commitment that you bring with $0 attached to the back end. You're not trying to sell me fucking shit. You're not trying to sell anybody shit. You just do you. And that's what's so genuinely clear about you and kind of how you operate your business. And if you guys are going to take away, well, besides all the nuggets he's dropped on this show, talk about clarity in regards to who you are. James knows who he is. 1,000% he knows who he is. And he makes zero fucks about it. This is who I am. Dig it or don't. I'm good. I'm good either way. So what would that mean for your business if you were to go out there and really be clear and have that authentic opportunity to really kind of communicate to other people about what you're passionate about in life? What would that mean? What would that look like? Write that down really quickly. Go back and rewatch this episode like 1,000 fucking times, because you probably missed 90%, just like I did. I guarantee you I will rewatch this when I go for another walk later this afternoon, because it's truth that's being spoken to you right now. It's not a propaganda money-making machine speaking to you for a product end. You guys are listening to someone who is really passionate about bringing value. Take that, put it into your life in any way, shape, or form that you feel is necessary or authentic in your realm. Take it, run with it. James, we are having you back again. We're going to make you a staple on the show. I love you, man. I get tickled every single time you come on, because every time you come on, we talk about something new and interesting, and you've always been so generous to me, and I just appreciate it. I want to ask one question to the three of you really quickly. Julie is asking, what if you are broke? How do you keep going? So, James, I'm going to go to you. They're going to go to Gene. They're going to go to Nick, and then we're going to wrap the show.
What James is going to say. So when James says it, I'm just going to basically go, yeah, that's what I was going to say. So go ahead, James. I know exactly where he's going.
I mean, Julie, no, if you're broke, and I'm pretty confident you have your phone, right? Yeah, you have no choice but to put yourself out there now, right? On video. You have nothing else to lose, right? Like, you have nothing else to lose. And I think broke can be a multiple levels, right? Some people broke mentally, some people broke, financially, but broke is broke, and either way it hurts. And here's the truth about it. If we're just telling you the fundamentals is to start putting yourself out there and pick a channel and start, really honing your message, right? Just start. Like, I'm not saying you're gonna get it right, but just start. Here's the truth about that you can either have the emotion of being broke, right? Because I don't take that from you, but the emotion of being broke, or you can have progress, but you can't have both, right? So either you can stay in that broken mindset and just stay there, right? Or you can focus on trying to get out of that. And I prefer for anybody that's around me to at least put the attempt towards it, because that's 1,000% a thing that you can control. The attempt you put towards it. No, it's not going to be easy. No, it's not going. You're not going to feel like doing it. This is why we do what is required. We don't do what we feel like doing.
Yeah, that's true. One of the things that I think that what you said right there was so powerful is the fact I had a coach, and I told him one day that I was going to try to do something, right? Or I could try to do video, I could try to do marketing, I could try to do whatever. He's like, Greg, I want you to try to stand up. And I'm like, what? He's like, try to stand up. So I'm like, that's a fucking dumb question. So I stood up, and he's like, see the difference between trying and doing? And it hit me right between the eyes. And I was like, oh, dang. Talk about verbiage shifting. We got to wrap this thing. Gene, give me some of your takeaways, because this has been literally one of my favorite episodes we've ever recorded.
Yeah, always good when James comes on. Just kind of want to back up a couple things that he said, because Julie is a new name to me. I haven't seen her.
Julie. Julie know what she got to do.
Okay, so she's
Julie
one of your
exactly
people.
who I am. She matter of fact, she can call me if she needed me.
Okay. Well, this is good. Then this is going to go a long way then, because first of all, what do you do if you're broke? You have a tie line, and he told you everything, right? You have a phone. Most of everything we talk about on the show is absolutely free to do. And I want to tie this into something else, because she said, what if you are broke? How do you keep going? And then everyone needs hope right now, which I couldn't agree more with. And here's one of the things that I did in the past. So Julie probably doesn't know who I am, and she's probably never seen this, so it's worth talking about again. I did this thing called Superpower Coffee Hour. And other than me actually having to buy coffee to put in a cup for while I had it while we were on these Zoom calls, I opened my calendar to everybody in my network and just said to them, I know this is a trying time. It was in the middle of COVID. People were having a hard time mentally with it. I was not. I felt like I had to give something back. I had multiple calls every week, video Zoom calls every week with people that I hadn't seen since high school, that people that were friends of my father, were people like, when I tell you it was just random Joes and Sallys all day, every day. And by accident, I didn't sell a thing. I never told anybody what I did. I increased my business by 45% by doing those calls, just because I was there. I was offering a platform for people to bounce their heartache off of, right? Or whatever it was. I would say, call me because you're mad at your husband and you want to vent. Call me because you want to talk marketing, whatever you want to do. Call me because you're having a hard time with your kids. Call me because it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to get in space with people, and having an open conversation with folks generated business for me by accident. It was never part of the agenda, but I can tell you, other than my time, which is valuable, right? And other than the coffee I poured in my cup, it didn't cost me anything to do that. So there's just a couple ideas for you there that I think that resonate with what James was saying and how to do it. You have your phone, you obviously have your computer, you're talking to us. So there's a couple ways you could do that with even being broke.
Yeah. That's it. See, that's the beautiful part about what we're talking about here. Gene went out there with a giving spirit, and he just gave. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They don't give. They want something to receive versus giving. Once you make that mental shift and you take into what James has been talking about, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to be an unstoppable force in your marketplace. You just don't even know it yet because you haven't tried. Just try it. Just go out there. You're going to be astonished about your reactions and interactions and the conversations that you're going to be having with folks. In the random shit that's going to happen in your life, you're going to come across somebody at the car dealership getting your Mustang fixed, and they're going to be like, "Oh my God, I know you. I've been watching your videos." I had a guy come up to me in Walnut Creek at a frisbee disc golf park thing, and he's like, "Dude, I know you. You're Greg McDaniel." And I'm like, "How do you know me?" He's like, "Dude, I recognize your voice and your face from across the park." And it's because you've been watching the content being put out there. So start putting content out there. Start being visible. Start being a contributor to the lives of other people around you, and watch the ramifications that will come back in a positive light. Nick, give us some of your final thoughts.
That's a lot to wrap up. I'll give you one thing that's helped me whenever I'm in a negative space, and I'll take that to piggyback off Julie being in a negative space or having that negative mindset. And I don't want to get too woo-woo on you, but just an exercise you can do, which is a gratitude journal, right? So if you're in a space right now where everything seems to be falling apart, whatever you choose to do is not working, say it's broke monetarily or it's broke, like James said, mindset wise, is take 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the end of every day and write down everything you're grateful for. And when I say everything you're grateful for, I mean, pretend that if you woke up the next morning and it wasn't on the piece of paper, that you would lose it. And what happens is you do that 2 or 3 days in a row and you start writing down all these things, and these pieces of paper are going to get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And all of a sudden you're going to have a mindset shift and to be more thankful with what you already have. And so the issue is, like James says, living in abundance. We can all say we live in abundance, but are you actually living in abundance? Because if you don't have that mindset or that thought process, then everything is out to get you. And it's always negativity, and you're going to be drawn to all that negativity. So if you come from being grateful for everything that you do have, things will start showing up because your mindset will shift and you will be thankful. And I promise you it works, because I do it probably a couple times a month at this point in my life. So
awesome. I love it.
Hey, Greg, can I add something to that?
Please do.
For you guys that's really trying to tag team off what Nick says, sometimes you don't have those positive moments. Right? Sometimes, we have more of, just things happening to us than we're willing to actually admit. Almost seem like our life is in default. I'll tell you something that fueled me. And what fueled me is I didn't always feel like doing a lot of what I do, but I did always remember what I didn't want for my life. Let that fuel you. If you can't find anything positive, fuel yourself with what you don't want for your life, right? Those moments when you have to tell your kids, no, I can't afford it, right? Or you can't go, or let that fuel you. Because that's just the reality of where it is. And 80% of the time we're inside that negative space, right? That in itself removes the excuses of why you can't. It's not about emotion. It's not about how you feel. It's a commitment. Commitment is objective. It is not emotional. We make the decision to do with what we're trying to do or where we're trying to go. But if you can remember what you don't want for your life, right? Yeah, let that fuel you. I promise you'll get it done.
I could not agree with you more. We're going to leave the show there, ladies and gentlemen, because that is profound commentary from every single person on this show. And I recently have been in a situation where I had a conversation with an individual, and they said something to me that ripped me to the core. And I literally wake up every night thinking about it in the middle of the night. And it like James was saying, it is fuel for me to get up and do the calls, do the door knocks, go on the appointments. You do what you got to do, man. End of story. And no matter what that is that if that means showing up for your kid's soccer game, if that means getting a listing appointment, if that means taking your wife out on a date or your husband out for a cup of coffee, do what it takes. Because guess what? If you're not, somebody else will. End of story. All right, Nick, Gene, James, gentlemen, I need a couple of things from you. I just need one color for the bow on the show, and we'll get the fuck out.
Well, we got two Philly boys on here. Come on, man.
All right, so what color is that? I don't watch football.
I don't know, but I'm assuming it's green.
There you
go. Oh, I just projected on James. My bad, dude. I didn't know.
I do. I'm black on black all the time.
All right.
There are so many meanings to that.
We could go purple because me and James are both purple right now in the background.
Purple is royalty, though.
Yeah,
it is royalty.
I'm still going with meathead Philly boy green. Sorry.
All right, I don't really know how to say that, but we're just gonna go with green. James, before everybody gets out of here, where can people reach out to you, follow you, get in touch with you, be in your sphere? How do people find you?
Yeah, if they look up Zillow Killer, you'll see me. I'm the only brown dude out here, right? You'll see me anyway. Just look up Zillow Killer, and you'll see me.
All right, go look for, in his vernacular, the only brown dude that's called the Zillow Killer. That's his words, not mine. Okay. Gene Volpe, where do people find you?
That leads me to a question. You can't find me. I wonder if there's any vanilla dudes that are Zillow Killers.
I've seen a few.
Yeah.
Impersonators, wannabes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah, I've seen a few pop up.
All right.
We'll have to do some research.
That's a major compliment.
I don't care. Right.
Yeah.
Like, and somebody asked me, did you register it? I was like, you do it first. You do it first. You can have it. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You be the first.
All right, Nick, how do people get a hold of you?
nicksakis.com. Easiest place to find all my links.
All right, guys. His last name for all our dyslexic friends out there is Sakkis. That is nicksakis.com. If you guys want to get a hold of me, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, anywhere. Greg McDaniel. Go to YouTube, McDaniel Real Estate Systems. Follow the channel. Give us a couple of likes. Give a couple of thumbs up. Give us a 5-star review. It means the world to us that you guys are here hanging out, and hopefully you found some value in this. We do the show for you guys and because of you guys. So thank you. And reach out to the incredible guests that we have on the show, Mr. James, the Zillow Killer, Mr. Gene Volpe, the Evil Bald Ninja, Mr. Nick Sakkis, the Sakkis. I don't have another name for you, so so I'm just going with that one. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we love you to pieces, and until next time, peace out, ninjas. We gone.